let's talk about the next step for Brock Purdy. This is a time for introspection and growth. It's the bye week, and he's going to need to change something, do something a little differently to beat Jacksonville, and keep his job. So what is it?
Check down to Christian McCaffrey or check down to the running back. Just make the simple play. I think where Brock is getting, and it's the one gripe I do have is that he'll make plays. We have someone who can anticipate the ball, but I think the defenses now are getting smart and they're baiting them into throws, much like we saw with Drew Brees, much like we saw with
Jimmy.
Here's the thing, Jimmy. I think Jimmy could never move people like Brock does with his eyes. Never. I've never seen Jimmy do that. Maybe I'm wrong. I think Jimmy was Kyle say throw here, and he would throw here. And really, when Kyle had a bad game plan, Jimmy wasn't bailing him out.
Did you say that to his face in Detroit?
No, I did not. I was with my daughter, who was very much.
Yeah. Okay, keep going.
He was smitten with the jawline. So I think the reason why Kyle is optimistic with Brock is that Brock is bailing Kyle out of some of his bad plays.
Mm-hmm.
He is because Kyle has, and I think everyone will agree, Kyle's not called a good game plan because he has seen the teams adjust to what he does now. And I think it was the Browns game where I saw 5 people there at the line of scrimmage and press man coverage. And there's 2 things that our receivers outside of Brandon Ayuk is that they can't beat man coverage. They're not good route runners. I hate to say it. I love Debo. I love Kittle, but they're not good route runners. And
even Juwan Jennings isn't getting open.
And Juwan's the best. What did that tell you when Juwan Jennings is the second best route runner on your team? Right. Yeah. And to me, they need to put Christian McCaffrey out there. And I don't know if it's a rib injury as a slot receiver, but they need to combat that 5 line. They need to get 5 of those players out and isolate McCaffrey.
We're going to talk about reinforcements later, but I think Deebo Samuel is so critical for this particular slump the Niners are in. I think everything fell apart when he left. And I know they've won games without him in the past, but I mean, McCaffrey's kind of banged up. Trent Williams is out. They need Deebo. He makes everything. He's like a cheat code for a quarterback. You can just throw it behind the line of scrimmage to Deebo. He could break 8 tackles. They need that Deebo Samuel right now. And if they can get him and Christian McCaffrey on the field together, they might be able to start scoring points again. I think Debo's really critical right now.
Can I also say one thing? The next step for Brock Purdy is that when we saw in training camp was a lack of being able to throw the deep ball. And percentage-wise, he's almost at a 60% rate. He leads the league in 20-yard throws, percentage-wise. He's at
Jimmy was like that 2019.
Exactly. They're very similar.
But you don't do it very much, but when you do, it's wide open. Yeah.
Correct. And to me, I think they need to get back to what they do is those very short intermediate throws. Maybe with offensive line reinforcements coming back, they'll be fine. But to me, they've gotten away from what they do a little bit. And I think it's Kyle kind of seeing what works and what doesn't.
Or maybe it's a little bit of Brock trying to do too much in the 4th quarter down a little bit. You know what I mean? Like these turnovers are happening when he throws down the field in the 4th quarter, down 5, down 10, down 7. You know, it's like, Brock, maybe you needed to learn. Like the first 10 games of his career, all he did was do his job and win by 20. No, now the last 3 games, it's like, okay, Brock, you need to step it up. You're down, lead the comeback. And he's like, all right, here I go. It's like the batter, you know what I mean? All right, we're down 3, bases loaded. Here I go. I'm gonna be the hero. And then you just strike out on 3 straight.
Which he did in college, right? And I thought that with Kyle being his coach,
I did that when I was 14 in All-Stars.
Well, he doesn't have a lack of playmakers. I think the other issue is that he does try too hard. I think he just should do what the defense gives it to him.
And you know what concerns me? 1 turnover against the Browns, 2 turnovers against the Vikings, 3 turnovers against the Bengals, could have been 5. Like, is he spiraling? Is he snowballing? What's going on? How is he going to respond to adversity? It was all going so well. He was 10-0. He was an MVP candidate. Now 1 loss turns into 3. 1 turnover turns into 6. And it's like, oh yeah, you lost a lot of games in college. You turned the ball over a lot of times in college. Like, is this something with you? Does one problem turn into four? What's up with that? I want to know. Or is he the guy who's like, because with the thing with Joe, who people were trying to compare Brock to, is Joe could have a terrible first 3 quarters. He could go out. He threw 3 picks in that game against the Cowboys in 1981, the NFC Championship game. He threw 3 picks in that. He could be objectively awful and still win the game. How many guys can do that? Not that many. I don't know if Brock can do that.
Listen, I will just say in Brock's defense, he did everything he could at that Browns game. I was there, and I don't know why, for whatever reason, that Kyle
he
thought
was so bad earlier in the game, though.
I understand, but he got the drive in,
end.
and the not running for 4 or 5 extra yards was mind-boggling. No, I couldn't understand why he wasn't doing it. The weather was crappy, right? So every yard as a kick mattered. And I think I give him a pass on the Browns game, and I give him a pass on the Bengals game. To me, where I don't give him a pass as much in the Minnesota game, because I think those were his mistakes, mostly his mistakes. And
you give him a pass on the Bengals game?
I give him a pass on the Bengals game because the Bengals destroyed that offensive line. Hold on. I won't even go into stats. I won't even do any of that stuff.
All right.
He passed the eye test.
I don't care.
He passed the eye test.
I don't care.
He did.
I don't care. You got to hold on to the ball, man. You got knocked, you got sacked, and you fumbled. Like, in moments like that, he looks too small. He looks physically incapable. Like,
I agree, but we're just going to ignore the other 3 quarters where he was the only reason why they were in the game. You think Jimmy could have made those plays and
I'm not ignoring. I'm weighing. I'm not ignoring. I'm weighing on a scale. And that's the thing about playing quarterback. Those turnovers outweigh a lot of good throws. They do.
And I would say that Kyle needs to do a better job of protecting his quarterback.
Sure. Both things can be true for sure. Matt McEwen says maybe Brock gets arm fatigue after 45 minutes. I don't know if he's being snarky or not, but I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, I don't know. It's possible. I don't think it should be. Like, you throw more passes in practice than you do in a game, but.
Are you going to be at the game?
No, I'm not going to Jacksonville.
It would be interesting to see if someone is there with this week off, if he comes back and his arm's stronger. It'd be interesting to see.
That would be quite interesting, considering he was talking about that with Troy Aikman just a few weeks ago.